How to say no at work politely and effectively. Saying no at work can be uncomfortable, but saying yes to everything is not healthy either. Learn how to be confidently say no to more work while producing quality work. Most people find it difficult to say no because they feel guilty for not helping and like they are not being a team player. However, saying yes to everything and being overwhelmed is not healthy, nor will it produce good work. When you say no, you are not saying no to one option. When you say yes, you are saying no to every other option. No is a decision, yes is a responsibility. Learning how to say no will make your overall work quality and mental health improve and make you a true team player. Now, why is it important to know how to nicely say no? How to say no at work, examples of ways to say no, and do's and don'ts when it comes to saying no. Why it's important to know how to nicely say no. According to Rebecca Knight, saying no is not something that comes naturally because you feel bad about disappointing your coworkers and turning down your boss. However, you should never feel bad for saying no when you are overwhelmed. Learning how to say no nicely will show your coworkers and boss that you aren't saying no because you don't want to help them, but rather because you are overwhelmed and cannot take on more responsibility at that moment. Remember, you are no help if you are burnt out. Saying no is vital to both your success and the success of your organization. How to say no at work nicely. Assess the request, then know your priorities. Be straightforward and authentic. Bring up an alternative or solution. Build trust with your boss and colleagues. Practice before the conversation. Now assess the request. First things first, assess the request. Before jumping to the conclusion that you have to say no, ask for more information about the opportunity. Dillo suggests asking about the deadlines, the importance of the opportunity, and what exactly your job would be. Then, based on this extra context, you can decide if you can take on this task or not. By assessing the opportunity, you are showing the person who is asking you that you want to help rather than just saying no from the get go. This is also important to do because it may end up being something that will benefit you, and therefore you may make room for it while putting something else on the back burner. Think about what's on your plate, whether priorities can be shuffled or whether a colleague could step in to assist you on your other projects. Don't say no until you are sure you need to. Now, second one is know your priorities and communicate them. Keeping track of your priorities will help you determine if you can take on extra tasks. If you see that you have multiple priorities and that taking on any more will cause you to become overwhelmed, then say no. Your coworkers and your manager will want you to have a clear idea of what activities will bring the highest return on investment. Therefore, it is important to communicate your priorities to them so that they know why you are saying no. This will also ensure your coworkers and boss don't just assume that you are being lazy or don't want to help them. You always want to provide a sound reason, not an excuse as to why you are saying no. This helps the other person see things from your point of view and respond more rationally rather than reactively. Be straightforward and authentic. According to Dhillo, giving wishy washy reasons For not being able to help your coworkers can come across as disingenuous and unpersuasive. Therefore, if somebody asks you for help and you have too much on your plate, be straightforward with them and tell them why you are saying no. ठीक है जा. To limit frustration, be candid about why you are saying no. If you are challenged, stay steady, clear, and on message. Bring up an alternative or solution. Saying no doesn't always mean that you are saying no to the entire task. You can also say no to doing it today or this week or just to doing the entire thing, but be willing to do a part of it. Therefore, bringing up alternatives can help both you and the person asking for help. Prosect says that being flexible is key. Rather than completely shutting down the person, suggest helping them at a later date when you can take the time to produce the better quality work. If you can't do something on a specific day or time, see if there is another time frame that works for both you and the other person. Build trust with your boss and colleagues. Saying yes to everything will make your bosses and colleagues trust that they can count on you to always help them. Yes, this is a good mindset, but let us show you an even better, healthier mindset to have. Rather than having your co-workers trust that you will always help them, have your co-workers trust that you will always produce your best quality work. Having this mindset will make your boss and colleagues appreciate your work more. If you have too much on your plate, your quality of work will suffer, likely being slopier and killing productivity. Therefore, sometimes saying no is the better choice and will benefit everyone in the end. Practice before the conversation. Sometimes, when we are blindsided, things come out the wrong way. Therefore, practicing how to say no will prepare you for those times that your bandwidth is stressed to its max. Saying yes and taking on too much will not only harm your mental health and affect the quality of your work. Furthermore, if you find yourself constantly working late or bringing work home with you, then you no longer have a healthy work life balance. This may also cause you to resent your job and create a negative work environment. Therefore, practice saying no will ensure that when you are asked to do something and don't have the time, you will know how to say it politely and effectively to avoid those feelings. Examples of ways to say no. If you are struggling with ways to say no to your bosses and colleagues, consider trying one of these examples to ensure that what you say comes across politely and effectively. Unfortunately, I have too much to do today. I can help you another time. That sounds fun, but I have a lot going on at home. I am not comfortable doing that task. Is there anything else I can help you with? Now isn't a good time for me. I'll let you know if my schedule frees up. Sorry, I have already committed to something else. I hope you understand. I would love to join you, but I am feeling a little overwhelmed with work right now. Sadly, I cannot help with that. I am not qualified for that type of work. The timing right now isn't good. Can you help me? Can you keep in mind for next time? How about you try it on your own first and then can I help you? I enjoyed helping you last time, but I'm too busy to assist you right now. Do's and don'ts when it comes to saying no. Learning the right way to say no is crucial to ensure that your co-workers understand where you are coming from and are not afraid to ask you for help in the future. So let's learn the do's and don'ts of saying no. Do's. First one is do make a compromise. Saying no to the entire task is understandable. However, if you think you can help out in any small way, try and make a compromise. You can compromise by suggesting a different day that you can help or help the person find somebody else who can help them. Another way to compromise is by asking the person if they can take on any one of your tasks. This trade off of tasks will free up space in your day to do what they are asking you to do while ensuring that your other tasks still gets done. It is important to remember that in a compromise, both people need to give and take. Therefore, ensuring that they are also doing what they can to help you with create a healthy work relationship. There is almost always room to compromise, so use that to your advantage. Do consider the impact of your no. It is important to stop and think about the impact of your no before saying it. How it will impact your workload versus the person asking you for help's workload. For example, by saying no, you may be preventing the person asking you from hitting an important deadline. Or by saying no, you may be saving yourself from extra stress. In all, weighing the pros and cons of your decision will ensure that you make the right choice and understand the impact of your no. Do take a moment and think rather than reacting on your gut feeling. It is natural to instinctively say yes when somebody asks you to do something. You want them to like you and you want to be viewed as a helpful and reliable person. However, sometimes saying yes will only negatively affect you and your work. Therefore, rather than jumping at every opportunity to help out, take a moment and think about the situation. Ask yourself, do I have the time for this or will this overwhelm me? Then make a rational decision if saying yes or no is the right answer. Don't be a pushover. Saying yes too many times and overworking yourself will only produce a negative result. Your work quality and your mental health will suffer, and overall, you will resent your job. Therefore, when you don't have the bandwidth to help, say no. However, we know this is easier said than done. Some co workers will ignore your decline and keep asking you or bugging you for help. We have all heard it. It won't take long, or I really need your help. So, it is important to be firm yet polite in saying no. And when they ask again, simply reiterate why you declined the first time. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone's bandwidth is different. Just because one person can take on 5 tasks doesn't mean you can, and vice versa. Taking on more than you can handle just because other team members are taking on more than you is not healthy. Firstly, they may be struggling with the workload and therefore producing low quality work. Secondly, they may have more experience than you and therefore can work at a faster pace than you. And thirdly, they may not have as much going on outside of work, having a clearer mind to do more things at once. If you constantly compare yourself to your colleagues, you will never be fully satisfied with your work. Therefore, it is important to know your limits and understand that everyone has their own bandwidth. Comparing yourself with others is natural and can be motivational. However, too much of it leads to envy, especially if you are ungenerous towards yourself. Don't hold back the real reason you are saying no. Holding back the real reason that you are saying no will just make your co workers less likely to believe you. Instead of trying to come up with an excuse as to why you can't help them. For example, saying that you are helping somebody else out when you aren't, just be honest and tell them the truth. You are overwhelmed and too busy. Your co workers will appreciate the truth more than a lie, even if it isn't what they want to hear. At the end of the day, lying gets you nowhere and loses trust between co workers. So, to maintain a good relationship at work, tell them the truth. Parting advice: knowing when to say no is an important skill to learn. As much as we want to help out, we need to consider the impact of our answer on both us and the person asking. Whether it is a small or big task, never be afraid to say no. Knowing your limits and understanding how to communicate them will make you a better team player. Thank you.